Hey you guys, Mary from SVG Cuts here, and I'm super excited about my brand new three-dimensional Nutcracker, and I cannot wait to see all the different twists that you guys put on it with your different papers and maybe different little outfits and styles and whatnot. So that is going to be super fun to see all Christmas season long. So I had a lot of fun using the Graphic 45 Nutcracker Sweet paper with this, because obviously it's kind of Nutcracker themed and it's got some little sweets on it, and it's really nice colors, like with the purple and with the pink because of the Ballet Slippers. So that is really fun, but like I always say, you can totally use any kind of Christmas paper on any of these projects and it's still going to look really awesome. So the other fun part of our kit here are our three-dimensional ballet slippers. So I think these would look really cute hanging on a tree with some Hershey Kisses in them, or on someone's door, or like as a decoration in someone's bedroom or something. So those are fun and pretty easy to put together. So in just a minute I'm going to show you how to put together the Nutcracker and the ballet slippers. But we've also got two coordinating cards here which are nice and quick and simple, and since they're just flat cards, it's easy to let your machine do all the work cutting them out and just glue them together. Super simple and easy. So we've also got a scrapbook page which you can add to your collection of 12 by 12 scrapbook pages, and I used quite a bit of different colors on here. I think if I was to do it again, maybe I would go with fewer different colors just to keep it a little classier, but I still think it's cute, and it works with a 5 by 7 and then two regular 4 by 6 pictures. So the cool thing about that is that you can use your handy dandy photo templates which your machine cuts out, and then you use them to align perfectly on your photo exactly where you want your machine to do the cutting for you. So to see a separate step-by-step on how to do that, click over here and you can check out more about that. So finally, the paper that I used, like I was saying, is this awesome Graphic 45 paper, and as soon as I saw it I knew that I had to have it. I think it's like to die for, and it's really cool, the gingerbread men and the ballerinas and the nutcrackers, and so I love it. But there's all kinds of really fun Christmas paper out there, so have fun picking your paper out. So I've got all my pieces cut out, so let's sit down and take a look. So first let's take a look at our ballet slippers, and these three pieces are going to go on the outside. We're just doing one slipper right now. This piece is going to go on at the end on the inside, and then to make up the slipper itself we've got some pieces here which are numbered, and your machine will go ahead and cut a number on the bottom of each piece. And I went ahead and took a black marker and I darkened it in so that you'd be able to see it a little easier here, but you don't have to do that, you can see it yourself. Okay, so all we're going to do is make sure that they're going in order from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I've already glued 5 and 6 together. We've also got these two pieces which we can just ignore for now. We'll put those on at the end. And if you've done any of our three-dimensional projects before, this is going to feel kind of familiar. It's sort of a similar concept to some other three-dimensional projects where basically all you're doing is gluing them in order together, just one tab at a time. So I just want to line this up and give it a chance to dry. Give it a couple seconds here, and then move on to the next one, and the next one, and so on. And since this ballet slipper is kind of a strange shape, each of these sections is shaped a little differently, but they all get glued together in the same way with the same principle of just gluing all these tabs together in a row. I think it's easiest to go bottom to top. And then all we're going to do is repeat the same thing here and glue number 3 to number 2. And then number 4 is nice and short because that's the toe. It's going to go here. And you're going to do the same thing, gluing 5 to 4. So go ahead and do that. So now I have all my pieces glued together, except all that's left to do is close it up here. And it's totally the same principle. I'm just going to put glue on all these tabs, and one at a time from the bottom to the top I'm going to glue them in place. So now let's just glue a couple in place so that you can get the idea here of where to place your top and bottom, although you've probably figured it out on your own already by now. Pretty simple. Once you've got your toe in place, like let's say this is all glued together, you're going to take the smaller little piece and put glue on all 6 of these tabs and just place that right there. And then you can just go ahead and do the same thing on the back side with this back piece, like this. So next, you can go ahead and take your insert piece and glue that on the inside to finish it off. And then we can glue these guys on. And you don't really need to put glue on the whole entire thing. I mean, you can, that's fine. First, let's start by only putting glue on the toe part here. I put it on the shoe, but you could also just put it right here. And we're going to line this up right here and give it a second to dry. So now we're going to go ahead and choose what kind of ribbon you want to stick in there. And you're going to be putting your ribbon up high right about here. Just put some glue, place your ribbon down, and then you can go ahead and glue this over to finish it off. So when I did my ribbon, I used a hot glue gun just to make sure that it had a nice hold. You can do that too if you've got one. So now you can do the same thing on the other side with your ribbon on the inside, and then place this center one in place. Then go ahead and make your other shoe, and if you want to keep them together, I did, and I put some glue between them right here. And I also added some cute little embellishments. So now for our Nutcracker, I'm going to go ahead and show you the different pieces that I have grouped together here, but I'm going to skip over some of the small add-on pieces like the eyes and the mustache and the belt and everything. So these are just the main pieces. Now we've got our cape here, and some of this white stuff is his hair and his beard. Then for this, it's his head, and these are his hands. There's 2 shaped like this. This one is his nose, and there are 3 little panels like this which form his face. So next we've got his hat, and there's a crown that goes on top, which I'm not going to show. We've also got the base here, which everything stands on. We've also got his little front piece here, which goes on top underneath his belt at the end. And all of these red pieces that I have here are his body, and that's where most of the gluing takes place. Everything else is really pretty straightforward and simple. Then we've got one of his legs, and this piece goes on top of his leg to make it look like a boot, because here's one of his shoes, and then this goes on to make it look like a boot, and then this red piece is an accent piece. And then finally we've got his arm, just one arm here, and his little cuff and the little shoulder pad thing. So let's start by gluing the base together. So this is the base, and it's super simple and straightforward. All we're going to do is put some glue on this little triangular shaped tab, and do that all the way around until we've got our base formed. And then once that's in place, once all 4 of these little triangles are in place, we will be able to just put some glue on all 3 of these tabs and fold this over and flip it over, and you've got your base. So next for his shoe, I'm just going to do one here, and there is one tab on the end here, which I will put some glue on and curve this around and give it a second to dry. And then all we're going to do is fold these over and put glue on all of these tabs, and then place this on top of them and just kind of scooch it around until it's lined up real nice. Then you're just going to do the same thing on the other side, except this side has a fold here, but you'll still do the same thing and just scooch it around until it is glued nicely. So that forms his little shoe. So now let's move on to his leg. I've got just one leg here, and this is super straightforward. There is also just one tab on the end here, and we just need to wrap it around and glue it in place. And it may look like a basic rectangle, but one side of it is flat. This top side here is flat. That's where his body is going to get glued on. But the other side is at an angle. So I'm looking at it and I can see here that it's angled down. It's kind of like this down here. So that is going to go like this on his foot, because his foot is also at the same angle. So once you have figured out which way it's supposed to be going, you can go ahead and glue with either regular glue, or if you have a hot glue gun, you can get that out too and put some glue on these tabs, and then go ahead and place it just right in the center of your foot. And like I said, this angle here is going like this. So if I was to put it the wrong way, then his foot would be leaning forward like this. So it needs to be like this, so it's straight and flat on the top. So now let's take this little top piece for his leg, which should be the same color as his shoe. So it's the same sort of principle here, where once I fold it around, this is flat on the top, but on the bottom it's at an angle. So I want to make sure that it's going the right direction. So I can see that it's a little higher up here than it is down here. So that means I'm going to be able to glue it right on top of the leg, just like this, and it's going to line up perfectly on the bottom, and the top's going to be nice and flat. Then you can go ahead and take your red piece, which again has the same principle, and the top is flat and the bottom's slightly angled, so then I can glue this just like this. So next, for the Nutcracker's body, it is again labeled like our ballet slippers were labeled. So down here at the bottom, your machine will have cut a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all the way through 10. So just to make this video a little clearer, I went ahead and took a black marker and drew it in there so that you could see it better. So to begin with, I'm just going to take number 1 here, and again it's the same sort of principle as the ballet slippers and as some of our other three-dimensional projects, where all we're going to do is just glue them in order 1 through 10, and just one tab at a time from the bottom to the top. And again, this is kind of an irregular shape his body is, so that means each of these pieces looks a little different from the next one, but they fit together properly. So go ahead, and I went ahead and I glued some of these ahead of time just to speed this up a little bit, but you want to just go ahead and repeat this all the way down, making sure that your pieces are in the right order. So now I've got most of my body together here, and all that's left to do is close up this final seam here in the same way that I did all these other sections. So I think it might be easier to do the top one and the bottom one. It kind of forces the middle ones to get in place, but I don't think it really matters too much, whatever. Okay, so that's a nice seam there. So now we have a top and a bottom to glue on, and you can kind of place this on here ahead of time and make sure that it's going in the right direction before you get your glue out. So there we go. We can go ahead and put glue on all of these tabs. And I just did a little double check there to make sure that everything was going to line up the right way first. And I'll just put that in place and give it a chance to dry and kind of move these pieces around a bit so that everything's lined up as nicely as possible before the glue really starts to dry. So I'm kind of making a big old mess with my glue. You can be more careful than me, but you get the idea. So again, same thing on the bottom. Now this is kind of a funny shape, so let's make sure that we are going to line up properly. See now, this actually needs to be twisted this way. I can see. Yep, there we go. Okay. So we can go ahead and put glue on these guys and put that in place. So next for the body, I'm going to take these purple pieces here and they are going to go on like this. And it might be kind of hard to tell if this is the front or if this is the front, but if you put these pieces on and they're sticking down a lot, that's the back. So you want to flip it over and put them on the front. Then you can go ahead and put your yellow button pieces on and your belt with the buckle and this bottom lip here with the teeth, and then put the beard on top. So now let's move on to one of the arms. So next for our arm, the side with the most tabs up here, that's the top. So that means this is the bottom. So this is the side tab here. So let's go ahead and put a nice line of glue down the side tab and make our arm shape here. So next we can go ahead and fold these little bottom pieces in. And like I usually say, you can be a little more precise and careful with your glue on your project. I just want to show you where things go, so I'm being a little bit messy. So now to put his hand in place, we want to gently curve this. Don't want to fold it except for these two folds. So if you're having a hard time curving it, you can grab a pencil or a dowel. Okay. So now I'm just going to put some glue on these two triangles and glue his little hand onto the bottom of his arm. And then I'll have to hold that for a minute while it dries. So now for the top of his arm, we are just going to put a little glue on these top two tabs and fold it over and give it a chance to dry. So here is his arm, and I've got his little cuff piece here, which just gets glued right here. And you can double check ahead of time before you get your glue out that you're doing it in the, like this is not correct here, but this is. So glue that there. Then go ahead and put some regular glue or hot glue on these three tabs and glue it right to the side of his body. And then you can take your shoulder pad piece, put a dot of glue here and here, and bend the top over. Give it a minute to dry, and then you can use that to finish off his shoulder like this. So next for his head, it's super simple. All we're going to do is put some glue on this bottom tab here, hold that in place while it dries, and then just repeat that all the way down on the same tab. So now his head is almost taking shape here. Now all I need to do is put a little glue on these final tabs to close up the seam of his head, like this. So now, I can see that this top here is a little bit larger than the bottom. So we know that that's the bottom and we know that that's the top. So let's set that aside for just a minute, and we're going to form the hat, which is going to get glued onto the top of the head. So I'm just going to put a line of glue on the side tab and hold it while it dries for just a second. Then the top is going to be going on here, but I'm going to leave it open for now so that I can get inside to make it easier to glue these top pieces of the head to the inside of the hat. Now I'm being a little messy here. You can take your time and be more careful, but I just want to line them up as best as I can, but instead of going in order all the way around, I'm going to skip to the opposite side just to be sure that I get a good fit. Because I think if I go around in order, if I'm off a little bit, by the time I get back around, things might be completely off. So just kind of skip around and close them up. There you go. So now you can go ahead and glue your top of your hat, and there are lots of embellishments that you can put on and do some fun stuff. So then for his face, we need to decide which 3 panels are his face, because 1, 2, 3 makes up his face. It could really be anywhere as far as my project goes right now. And then these panels, the top is a little bit wider than the bottom, so we know which is the top and which is the bottom. I just need 2 little lines of glue, and I will get one secure and then go ahead and secure the other one. So you can go ahead and put those 3 on, and then put some glue on the back of your nose and fold it around. Give it a chance to dry and put another little dot of glue on the back of your nose and put that right on your face. And you can go ahead and add the rest of the facial features, and the hair goes on around like this. And I went ahead and I took my wooden dowel, or you could probably use a pencil, and I curved it under. So his hair is styled under. And then for your other pieces, this guy, I curved under as well, and that goes right in the center. And then this one I curved out like this. That goes right in the center. And then I curved this one a little bit, and that goes on the corner if you want to put it on the corner or on the top. Whatever, you can get creative and give him your own hairdo. So once you have your head done, all you're going to do is glue it right smack in the middle of the top of the body with either regular glue or hot glue. And then you can take your 2 legs and glue them right in the center. And they can either be straight up and down, straight forward, like a traditional Nutcracker, or I made mine kind of like a little crooked, which I thought was cute. And then just glue that right onto your base, and you're all done. So there you have it, super fun Christmas projects. And like I said, I would love to see your Nutcracker if you make one. And I think you got a good feel for how it's pretty easy to do. You just break it down step by step and put the pieces together, and voila. So be sure and share pictures on our Facebook wall or on your blog or in our forum. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time, and happy crafting.
Learn more by visiting www.svgcuts.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and watch all of our crafty videos on YouTube. It's a world of crafty content with you in the middle. svgcuts.com, inspiring you to live creatively and beautifully.